I finally tried Bun for the first time, and honestly, I can't imagine ever going back to Node.js again. For reference, I've spent hours in the past just trying to set up a Node.js project to work with TypeScript, ES modules, and to have a hot reloading server. But all of that stuff just works out of the box with Bun. Node.js has been around for a long time now, but maybe it's time for something new. Bun is a new JavaScript runtime to replace Node.js, but it's also a lot more. It's a package manager, it's a test runner, and it has automatic configurations for TypeScript and a hot reloading server and so much more. I'll show you some of this hands-on in a second and the project that I've been working on. But first, let's take a minute to talk about Node, and then we can understand more about what Bun is and why it's so amazing. So I've said a few times already that Node and Bun are both JavaScript runtimes, but what does that actually mean? Basically, a runtime is an environment that allows you to run the JavaScript language. So previous to Node.js, the only way we could use JavaScript was in the browser, but Node.js really revolutionized the language of JavaScript by bringing it to the server and allowing us to do so much more than we ever had before with JavaScript specifically. Now, one other thing to understand is a JavaScript engine. So Node.js is a JavaScript runtime that is powered by the V8 JavaScript engine, which is from Google Chrome. So Node.js became the de facto way to run JavaScript outside of the browser in a server for about 10 years. And then a few years ago, Dino was released, created by the original creator of Node.js, in an effort to kind of fix the mistakes that he made with Node.js. And Dino has been kind of up and down in popularity and excitement, but most recently, Bun has come out and officially gone 1.0, which means it's really ready to use. So let's talk a little bit more about Bun, its amazing features, and why I'm so excited about it. And then at the end, I'll show you hands-on examples of what I'm talking about in the most recent project that I'm working on. So while Node.js uses the V8 engine from Google Chrome, Bun actually uses the JavaScript core engine, which was built for Safari. So in some ways, it doesn't really matter a whole lot to us using it because we don't really use the underlying engine directly, but what we do care about is speed, and Bun is really adamant about being faster than Node.js and Dino as other runtimes to compare. Now, the really cool thing about Bun is that you don't have to make this big shift to a new runtime to be able to continue to work on what you've already been doing. So Bun is meant to be basically a drop-in replacement for Node.js, which means you can bring basically all of your NPM packages over and you can continue to write JavaScript in the way that you're used to from working with Node.js and not really care about what's going on underneath the hood. Now, this has certainly been true for me, and I'll show you this in a minute in this project, but I created a new Bun project. I dropped in Express. I wrote the same code I would for Express and Node.js. I dropped in Multer for having file uploads, and everything just worked. I didn't have to do anything specific to make that work. Now, an interesting thing about this is Node.js kind of originated the common JS format for doing import syntax. We've since had ESM, and now we have difficulties in working with both ESM modules and common JS. In Bun, those two work directly together, and you can actually import using different types of import syntax in the same file, which is really interesting. Now, one thing I've already mentioned is the inclusion of TypeScript, and this is huge. I've spent a lot of time in the past just trying to figure out how to configure a Node.js project to use TypeScript, because let's be honest, I don't create any project anymore without using TypeScript. It's become my de facto way of working with JavaScript is to use TypeScript. And if you look at frameworks like Next.js or Astro or something like that, they automatically support it. But I've always struggled with coming up with a configuration in Node.js to support TypeScript, and that is out of the box with Bun, which means you don't have to worry about anything. You can just start writing TypeScript and you're off and running. Now, another thing that's really neat is Bun already has a watch mode enabled for a live reloading server. Now, in Node.js, for many years, up until recently, we used NodeMon to be able to have a hot reloading server. And what that meant was an extra package that we had to install. Also, one thing to note, in versions 18 something plus in Node.js, they have an experimental flag to do something similar, but the Bun version looks so much faster. Now, I mentioned that Bun is meant to be basically a drop-in replacement for Node.js, and that is mostly true. Almost all the APIs that you're used to in Node are available in Bun. I used the file system the other day. They have an HTTP server and a WebSocket server working with files. They also have a few extra things that are built in, like working with testing, which I haven't tried out yet, but I'm excited about. Hashing a password, which has always been a separate package that you had to install with Node.js. And then a bunch of other things. So they have a lot of the main core libraries that you're used to from Node.js included already, and then also some additional things to just make it easier for all the standard things that we do all the time. One of the things that I was really impressed with was the npm install, or actually Bun install process compared to npm install. And it's one of those things where they talk about it being so much faster than PNPM and npm and Yarn, but you can't really grasp that, I think, until you use it. So I didn't realize that I felt like npm was slow until now using Bun. And now it's like crazy noticeable how different it is working with Bun versus Node.js. And that's really exciting because that means that's that much quicker that I can install packages and start writing code and getting to the thing that I'm building. So just to sum up some of those bullet points, the speed of Bun is very noticeable. The speed of installing packages, the reloading server, very noticeable. The built-in configuration for TypeScript and for testing, which I haven't tried yet, and a reloading server, that's amazing. It's basically close to a one-to-one of being able to do anything in Bun that I could in Node.js. So that's exciting. It's officially 1.0. That's exciting. It's amazing to see the progress that it's made. So let's take a quick look at the project I've been working on, and I can show you a few of these things right inside of that code. So this is the project that I'm working on. It's called Split Clip. And this is basically a thing that I'm trying to build to help split videos in intelligent ways that I want using AI eventually. And I'm going to be building this in public over the next couple of months. So you can expect more content from this and live streams, etc. But this is Bun, and all I did was run a bun init. It comes up with its lock file, a package.json file, which is fairly minimal. And it's basically what you would expect. So the first thing they give you is the index.ts file, again, TypeScript right out of the box. And then you can see that I've installed packages that I can work with as well. So I have the Zeta package, that's the database that I'm working with, which is really awesome. It's built on top of Postgres, has a UI, it has file storage now, which I'm working with. So we have the Zeta client is installed. We have the Multer package. We have cores. And then we're also able to import FS, the like promises version or the non-promises version, just like you would in Node.js, and then use that again, just like you would in Node.js. And that's really cool. So all of this is a very familiar syntax. All of it is very familiar for code. I'm working with Express the same way I've been doing for years. And I love that. It works out so well that I don't have to go through a bunch of changes to take advantage of the benefits that Bun gives me. Now, if I were to run this, I can run the bun run and then -- hot command. And what that means is that's going to live reload this server anytime any of the files that are imported get changed. And there's some technical details on their website about how they do that that makes this faster than NodeMon, for example. Anyway, it's super fast. So if we look at the server is running, I press save and it's running again. Like it almost is unnoticeable. And that's really cool because I'm no longer like having to wait around for my server to start, my server to restart, etc. Not that it was super long before, but once you get into something that's faster, it's just much more noticeable. One of the things we can do is maybe remove the Multer package that is done. And then just to show you like a bun install of Multer, that thing happens super fast. So it's really nice for that experience to be fast. It's nice for TypeScript to be built in. It's nice for a lot of different things. There's so many things I think that from a developer experience perspective, Node.js was just lacking, and Bun now takes care of for us from the start, from the get-go. So anyway, I'm super excited about Bun. I imagine this is what I'm going to be using by default going forward with Node.js or JavaScript on the server projects if I'm not using something like Next.js with serverless functions, for example. So this is kind of my go-to. Let me know what you think about Bun. Is this something you're excited about? Are you going to try this out? It's still early, although it is 1.0, so it'll be curious. I will be curious to see where this goes in the next year or however long. So one of the things I do want to shout out is I have a newsletter. So if you're interested in what I'm up to and some of my recent content and recent content from the Discord community, Learn, Build, Teach that I run, you can check out my newsletter at jamesqquick.com/newsletter. Love to stay in touch with you on a weekly basis, but thank you for checking out the video and I'll catch you next time.